Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Elena Reister, and on my channel we talk about all things to do with being a student, getting a graduate degree, and then life with that graduate degree. Today we're going to be talking about dealing with criticism in graduate school and the importance of that criticism. My first suggestion is to find your critics. A lot of us tend to not want a lot of criticism. It doesn't make us feel great. And generally, when you're at the graduate school level, you've actually worked really hard on whatever you're putting forth. And so you want people to acknowledge that work and not to criticize it because you think that it's probably really good work. However, criticism is going to be the thing that's going to help you actually grow. And if you want to be successful in grad school, you want to find people who will give you good criticism and then actually take action on that criticism, because it's going to allow you to get to the place you need to get faster. A lot of times when we get criticism, we'll tell ourselves a false narrative. And this narrative is generally our work was perfect or was as good as it can get. And your work is never going to be perfect. Even a perfect work is not perfect for everyone. Every individual person has their pet peeves, and some people literally have opposing opinions. So you can get two different critiques, which are literally the exact opposite of each other from different people. And so we need to do away with our notion that things are perfect. The second false narrative we tend to tell ourselves when we get criticism is that I worked really hard on that, and I wish that you would just see the value of that work. Why are you critiquing it? Why can't you tell me it was good? I did a good job. Why aren't you recognizing that? The problem with this narrative is that even when you've done a really good job on something, critiquing it is actually valuing that work that you spent on it. So they want you to be able to take that work and put it to the next level, and that's why they're giving you these critiques. It's not to try and degrade your work, which is how we generally all feel. We want to be like, our work was perfect, and now you're telling us it's not. And that's not really how it is. It's actually to make you even better. If you're going to put in the hard work, you want somebody who's actually going to be there to critique you, so then you can actually grow as a result of that hard work, instead of having a production of that hard work but no growth. So if you're thinking about your friend group in grad school and your lab mates and your peers in grad school, think about when was a time that they gave you criticism. And I think the biggest times that we recognize criticism is whenever we have something under review. So if we give a friend a paper to read or do a presentation in front of some people to practice, that's when we generally think about getting criticism. But we can also get criticism from our advisors telling us you need to be doing more research or you're not where I expect you to be. And criticism doesn't generally make us feel very good. It can be really hard to manage, and it feels like a personal attack, and it usually makes us feel very defensive. However, if we actually want to get better at being a graduate student at life, we need to learn to take that criticism to heart. So you need to find people who are actually going to be good critics for you and give you good criticism and not demean you. These critics will be really good for you because they'll be there to tell you, hey, you're not doing really well in this, or you need to focus on this. They're also going to be able to be the ones that help you when it comes time to present something. Whether that's a paper, a presentation, an oral exam, any of those things, you want to have that network of people that you know are going to give you good criticism. So the next thing we need to cover is what is actually good criticism and how do we deal with that criticism. So let's first talk about what good criticism is. And this is generally the debate between your constructive and your destructive criticism. And the biggest difference between these is whether that criticism is actionable. So in destructive criticism, this is generally going to be demeaning. It didn't take a lot of thought on the person who was giving the criticism, and there's generally no action behind it. So saying that,
you suck, your paper sucks, you're just not good at anything,
or even something that's completely unrelated to the topic and having personal attacks on you. there's nothing that's actionable in this. So it's still going to hurt. It's still going to sting. It's going to be frustrating because you're trying to figure out why this person is even saying those things, but it's not actually going to help you grow. And so these are things that you're going to have to like take in and then kind of just let it go out the other ear and not really focus on it. On the other hand, constructive criticism can still feel harsh. It can still feel mean. It can still sting, but it generally has an action behind it. So even if somebody said that your presentation really sucked and you need to fix your organization because it made no sense, that is actually constructive criticism. It sounds really harsh, it's a little bit of tough love, and it probably doesn't make you feel very good. It's gonna sting a little, but there's an actionable step you can take, and that's something that you can take in, and then you know how to move forward. You know how to get better. When you have a criticism that is actually actionable, it is constructive, it doesn't mean that it doesn't sting or hurt or make you feel defensive. All of those things are kind of our natural response to any type of criticism. So then how do we move forward? How do we deal with that? So what I do when I get criticism, especially if it stings, is I read over that criticism or I take that criticism and then I let it sit. So I'll go do something else. I'll go focus on something else, depending on the timeline that I have to respond to that criticism, depends on what I'll do. So if I have months to respond to that criticism, I may just let it sit for a week and then come back to it. If I have a couple hours or days to respond to it, then I might just go get a coffee, chill with a friend or something like that. And then after you've kind of calmed down and let yourself experience those frustrations, those emotions, maybe you rant about it, then you can come back to the criticism and actually focus on it and take a deep breath and say, okay, I need to actually do this so that I can get better, because that's really what going to graduate school is about. It's bettering your life and trying to get better at what you're passionate about. So the final part of our conversation is actually about you doing your part and you becoming a good critic for other people. And a lot of grad students, especially when you're first starting out, are a little bit timid about doing this because you don't want to hurt other people's feelings and you don't want other people mad at you. But by not being a good critic, you're actually harming other people's ability to be a better graduate student and to produce a higher quality work. To be a good critic, you want to make sure that your critiques are constructive and actionable, that people have a clear direction of how to approach your critiques instead of just feeling like they got demeaned. I think we've all been in those presentations where you give a practice presentation and the only critique someone gives is that you had a typo in this word, or the color of this figure was not the best, or this figure is just a little bit misaligned with all the others. And yes, these are good critiques, they're actionable, and they're going to make your presentation better if you do them, but they're almost require no thought to recognize these things. And it's better to have a thoughtful critique saying, hey, I felt like this didn't flow very well, or I got confused here, or something like that, because you actually feel like you made an actual better version of that product and not just a simply edited version of that product. So the next time you have an opportunity to critique people, actually think through what they're doing and how you can actually make it better. And by doing this, you're actually going to become better yourself. You're going to see things from other people's eyes and catch things sooner in your own products, which is going to make you a better grad student. The better grad student you can be is going to result in higher quality works, potentially a faster timeline, and then better prospects after you've left your graduate career. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel below. This is really going to help to support me so I can keep making these videos for you. So my videos will go live every Monday and Thursday at noon if you want to subscribe to make sure you're notified when my videos go live, and I'll see you next time.